Radio 710 Keel is your news and weather station.
Thank you all for having me on.
And
Thank
you are leading the charge for I-49 through the city. It's a citizens group. You have a big fundraiser tonight. First, tell us about the fundraiser.
The fundraiser tonight, 5 p.m. start, Ernest Orleans Restaurant at the top of the hill just south of downtown on Spring Street. The fundraiser is a public awareness campaign. The decision on this segment of the interstate, which was blocked 30 years ago by a very powerful mega group, small in number but very powerful, probably the most powerful political group ever in this city. They blocked it 30 years ago, and they want to block it again. And we have a public awareness campaign to raise money so that when the issue comes up here shortly, we have the money in place to advertise what the truth is to the general public of Shreveport, Bossier, and the architects.
Are you primarily trying to raise these funds for advertising, or do you anticipate some sort of other two-pronged attack, such as litigation?
No, quite honestly, our focus is to get the interstate built. Okay? I mean, there's all kinds of things swirling around. This is not political. It's not racial. It's very simple. It needs to be built for two reasons. Ease of traffic into the west side of downtown. If we build this 3.6-mile segment and connect I-220 and I-20 and I-49 and bring it in just west of downtown with access roads on each side and an exit into downtown at Caddo Ford Street, Shreveport, Bossier, it's the game-changing project, and it's the only one. We've been asking for 12 years now for people to bring us projects that can make things happen in Shreveport, Bossier bigger than this, and they're not out there. And let me take – go ahead.
What? You allege a group 30 years ago killed it, and they're working again. Tell us more about that group. You said they're very powerful. Who's leading the charge to keep this from happening?
Well, I'm not going to name names. I'll just tell you this. Community renewal was put in place in Allendale to block this interstate. The Fuller Center was brought here from Atlanta by community renewal. Common sense tells us the Housing Authority, which was always at its place, was knocked down some 15 years ago. Everybody knows a third grader can figure out that this interstate needs to be built. So why didn't a former mayor of ours and Mary Landrieu, a U.S. senator of ours, determine a plot of land to be able to move that housing authority to the west side of Allendale and not really get in the way of this interstate? And I know that the other side is going to say, well, if you're building a federal interstate, you can't purposely keep land open because then the federal government says the study's tainted and then they won't build the interstate. I understand all that, okay? And that's partly why we're going through the process, what we're going through. But the simple fact is the survey says 12,200 permanent jobs and careers and $417 million a year additional economic impact for many decades. I didn't create those numbers, okay? Pat Booras didn't create those numbers. Providence Engineering out of Baton Rouge, an independent group, did the study. So if anybody's got a problem with the numbers and the people on the other side do have a problem with the numbers, go talk to them.
Pat, you talk about a third grader being able to see the path. When I go down and look at the ramp, there's a ramp there that's blocked off with Jersey barricades that looks like it's going to be a exit ramp off of I-20 to something heading to that apartment complex that you're talking about. Same kind of thing. The same kind of things out by the racetrack off of the 220 bypass. Isn't it kind of a fiction that we're playing, that the road's not going to ultimately go there, that somebody in the state or the federal government wants it through there?
Well, the state has always wanted it to go through there. And simply put, we need I-69. I'll go ahead and bring up the subject. One of the things that's being passed around the city right now by a few government officials, okay, and they're all Caucasian, is the fact that we need to build I-69 rather than fund this last segment of I-49 through the city. There is no major urgency to start funding I-69 right now, okay? The person who led the I-69 charge on September the 9th, 2002, testified before Congress, a Shreveport resident who was a paid consultant by guys out of Indiana to build I-69 start building it some 20, 25 years ago, start funding it. He testified before Congress that Texas was always going to build I-69 from Laredo, Texas, all the way to Texarkana, Texas. So why is it that we have, and I'm just being specific so people will understand, and that's part of the reason we're going to have this public awareness fundraiser tonight. People need to know the truth because there's all kinds of things swirling around, propaganda, people telling half-truths and non-truths. The fact is, there's 4 very powerful government officials, all happen to be Caucasian, who for months now have gone around this city and this region and said, we must fund I-69 now, the urgency's now, because Texas is not going to build the spur to Louisiana. They're going to go to Texarkana instead. And that's the key phrase, okay? They're not allowed to use, they're going to go to Texarkana instead, because Texas was always going to Texarkana as of September 9th, 2002, out of the words of a very powerful political power broker right here in Shreveport, who wants I-49 built. He just doesn't want the last segment of I-49 through the city built just west of downtown Shreveport.
Pat, if I don't have $125 and I want to come to your event, is it okay to do that? I don't mean me specifically, but anybody.
Well, yeah, to be honest with you, I mean, I don't mind saying, I mean, our cost is going to be about $40 a person, $50 a person. We're going to have great food. We're going to have libations in the sense that it's a cash bar. It's going to be a fun event. And look, people get frustrated with me. We're fighting for the common good of Shreveport-Bossier.
I understand that, Pat, and I appreciate you spending your time with us. I'm looking forward to the day when you do come out and name names. I think we're going to get to that point soon, right?
Yep.
Well, somebody might get to it. I'm going to try to keep living here, okay?
Pat, we're up against our clock here. We can't thank you enough for, you know how my blood pressure gets on this, and I don't want it to get there today. So
Aaron, we're going to bring it home. I appreciate y'all having me on.
You bet.
Okay?
Thank you, Pat. Thanks for your time.